Hey my friends, how are you? Welcome to BrodieNeroTV on YouTube. If it's your first time here, welcome to the channel where basically what I'm doing is acquiring as much information I can as it takes to become a successful DJ producer in electronic music. You can see through different podcasts I'm doing, new content that's rolling out like this, my DJ sets, personal music I'm releasing, all types of stuff. Today, I want to talk about something that I think is a pretty important accomplishment that I've achieved that I'd like to teach others to do, and it's how to go #1 on Beatport with or without a label. So if you don't know me, again, my name's Brodie Nero. I'm originally from Toronto, Canada, but I now reside in Bali, Indonesia. I'm a DJ producer, and I'm also involved in nightlife, event organizations, bookings, all that kind of stuff. So today, let's discuss how I went #1 multiple times on Beatport. And I'm going to break this into two different phases, phase 1 and phase 2, pre-release and post-release, and have approximately 6 steps that I'll share of how you can potentially achieve going #1. Again, this is not guaranteed, but I'm going to teach you how I did it both with and without a label. A few things to start off with here. I call these things hearsay, meaning people say this, people say that. It's not fact checked. Some of it seems like it could be true, and in actuality, it is kind of true, but I can't guarantee it. So 3 things that I deem as hearsay. People say that after someone purchases something on Beatport, they need to download it for it to count towards you climbing on the charts. The second thing is that you need 20 to 25 pre-orders or at least units sold within the first week of the release. And the last thing is that you can't use the same credit card or create multiple accounts because Beatport knows. So again, we don't know these things for sure, but it's things that I've heard, partially experienced, and that's what it is. So I'll explain my releases and the positions that I've achieved on Beatport to give you some context of why I think I can speak on this. So a few of my projects. My first release ever was called Away. It was a two-track EP that I released exclusively myself. Now, I did this without a label. I created a DistroKid account, and this release went #1. It went #1 on new releases for Beatport, and I also went top 15 and top 10 for new organic releases. I also had front page features on beatport.com. So this is kind of crazy because this is done through DistroKid with no label, and I had no prior releases to this one coming out. This was again in Organic House, and I think it was around 2021. My next release after that was called Resistancia, and it was with a record label called Suta, which is a Bali-based label, and it achieved #25 on new Afro House releases. So this was through a record label, a smaller one, indie, and it was all my hustle that made it happen in conjunction with the label. The next release I had was called Reason, and it was a 2-track EP that was signed to a label called Phobic. Now, Phobic is owned and operated by a DJ producer named Sasha Karasi, who's pretty big in melodic techno, and a lot of his success came with his alliance on Afterlife, which is why I was excited to release with him. And the chart position that I achieved for this record was #11. The next release that went #1 on beatport.com was a remix that I did for DJ Mofu and Nas, and the song was called, forgive my pronunciation here, Tanganyika, and I remixed this record with my friend Mokai, and it went #1 on Beatport. So again, I've achieved #1 on 2 different occasions. One was quite literally with no label, just a distributor, DistroKid, and the second one was with a record label in the Afro House space called Lecky. And then again, I had releases in between that went on the charts, but not #1, but at least top 25, top 10, etc. So general statement here, you do not need a label. You can create your own account through one of these distributors like DistroKid, TuneCore, among many others, if you don't want to wait for a label to sign your record to put music out. I chose my release date for the Away record. I did it on my own time, my own efforts, my own dime. So Whether or not you choose a label, however, is not going to dictate whether this advice, or sorry, it's not going to predicate whether or not this advice can help you go number one. You can use these same tactics. So let's go into phase one. Phase one is going to be called pre-release. So step one, prepare for your pre-order release date. This is the date when people can go on beatport.com, create a free account, pay and support your song. So your song isn't out yet on streaming platforms. It's not downloadable. It's just able to purchase as a pre-order on beatport.com. So you want to have your graphics ready. You want to be actively posting on social media, getting people excited. And maybe create some content around talking about the label you're signed with, if that's applicable, the project's inspiration. You're just trying to create content all around this project releasing. Now, the people you're going to contact, this is going to be people like immediate close friends, family, colleagues, other DJs, people who comment on your social media and engage with your content or in your life in general. People who come to your shows, etc. Everything above, below, in between, left and right. Now, step two. Guys, this is the secret sauce, and maybe it comes to a surprise to some of you, maybe it doesn't. Personalized voice notes via WhatsApp and social media. Yes, I know maybe it sounds uncomfortable, maybe to some of you it sounds cringe, maybe you think you're being annoying, but the truth is, in a time where everyone is just posting flyers, sending generic templated messages, copying and pasting and making promotion and marketing a very non-personal experience, this is your lead step and advantage to making someone believe and buy into you. This is the secret sauce that I did, and it can make people take action towards you. So the script here that you're going to say as a voice note over WhatsApp, over Instagram, or wherever else you can send voice notes. So what's going on, person? Hope your day's been awesome. Listen, I've got this epic release coming soon. I don't know if you have 5 minutes and $1.99, but it would mean the world to me and really help me moving my dreams forward. I'm doing this independently, if that's applicable. I'm going to put the link here below if you're down to support. Thanks so much for even considering to do this. Take a screenshot after you've done it, send it to me so I can show you love on social media for your support. Why this extra step for taking a screenshot is important is because when you tell somebody you're going to celebrate their support, it makes them get excited. And I believe, after doing my due diligence and observing the market and having this success, that people love to be a part of something else's success. So for example, there's an artist named Russ, and he's always saying to the fans, thank you fans, thanks for being a part of this. He's always talking as a collective and togetherness. And when people can see something from a distance and look at it rise and grow and say, I was a part of that, I contributed that, that's fulfilling for people. So that's why the narrative in this script is so important. Of course, you don't have to follow this word for word. I've got my own swag, I've got my own style. This is how I talk to people. So maybe you want to take certain words out, put certain words in, give it your own spin. Just make it authentic to you. But I think as a guideline, this is a brilliant script that I've used time and time again to go number one, or at least get onto the Beatport charts. Step three, you're going to wait for the reply. If they ask for more info or assistance, reply as fast as you can. At this point, you should have the notifications on for your social media during the pre and post release of this song. And again, answer as quick as you can. If they reply that they have done it, send another voice note, and your script is going to go something like this. Oh my God, you have no idea what this means to me. If you have anything that I can support in return, I'm always down. Make sure you honor this commitment. So for example, if the person owns a bakery, share their post on your social media, or go to that bakery and buy a croissant or a bun or a coffee or whatever. If it's a real estate agent that's supporting you, make sure you share their post. Or if you know somebody that's looking for a home, try and refer them some business. What we're trying to get after here is the ideology around the concept of reciprocity. They did something good for you, honor them with good karma, and do something back above and beyond just saying thank you. Again, this voice note reply means so much. I was in marketing for 6 or 7 years. The tonality in your voice, the connection that people can have with you through a voice note means so much. It makes it feel like a real experience and real connection. Next, if someone doesn't, if someone says they're going to do it, but they do not, you can follow up with them after a couple of days. If they don't do it after 2 more nudges, just leave them alone. Don't go crazy. This is a numbers game. The more people you talk to, the more people that are going to do it. I remember in network marketing, it was always talk to 10, get 2. Talk to 10, get 2. So it's like a 20% average for every 10 people you talk to if you have a good product. Now, let's move into phase 2, post-release. So step number 4. The hustle does not stop here. It's just getting going. Every single Friday, new music comes out on Beatport. So the first 6 days after your release are super important to be balls to the wall. And sorry, I'm not trying to exclude women here. It's just an expression, but this is the time you really grind and go all out here, contacting people. So full transparency here, because I was so eager to succeed on Beatport, I created multiple accounts because I have 3 or 4 different emails. I used different credit cards. I think I even asked family members to do the same thing. I don't know if this is legitimate. I don't know if I'm shooting myself in the foot by saying this, but in my opinion, Beatport, at the end of the day, they're a business. If they have multiple extra emails, it just means they can retarget and remarket you more often. And the fact of the matter is, if one sale can turn into 5 from the same person, I don't think a business is going to turn down money. So this could be something you incorporate into your hustle and your campaign for this song to maximize sales. But it's up to you and your discretion. The other thing you can do too is, everybody is a DJ these days, so I'm sure you know other DJs and other producers. So what you can do is exchange purchases. I was once in a WhatsApp group with a label where all of the artists would send in actually I still am in a couple of WhatsApp groups for that. So the artists will send in their Beatport links when they're ready, and the people in that group will support, and it's, again, a reciprocity thing. I put in my link, you put in your link, and we're all supporting each other. Step 5. If you've done all of this to the best of your ability, exactly how I'm suggesting, messaging everybody nonstop for the first week before release and post-release, you should have gotten onto the charts, especially if the numbers are anywhere aligned and close to what I said earlier about having 20 to 25 pre-orders or pre-releases. Again, you should see this charting and it'll populate on the release date itself. Now, this is an interesting part where you can use your initial success of getting onto the Beatport charts as new marketing strategy and content to market with, because people like to be a part of other people's success and witness the journey. So social media actions, take screenshots of your initial chart positioning. So for example, before I went #1 with my first project, I was like number 56, and that in itself poured fuel on the fire for me to want to hustle more. Start to speak in your content, sharing the success, thanking people for being a part of your support. Speak to the position of, we did this together, let's keep going. We got to number 50, we got to number 47, top 10, or even #1, etc. Share this in your Instagram stories, posts, etc. This is an important practice because there's people who are too busy, that listen to your voice note, that left you on red, that want to take action and support you, but they didn't because we're all distracted doing 1,000,001 things. Don't get offended and let your ego get stroked and frustrated because someone said they're going to do it and they didn't do it yet, or someone listened to your voice note and left you on red. You should be sending so many messages and hustling so hard that you don't even have the time or the capacity to get frustrated by this stuff. Now, I'm human enough to say that I do get annoyed by this stuff sometimes, but you have to stay on a positive, energetic frequency and not allow yourself to get annoyed by this stuff. Vibrate high, be positive, focus on your progress, and keep pushing. So again, this is super important to keep talking about this in your content, keep sharing, and keep marketing the same thing in the same campaign for this song, because again, you could have hit up John Smith on Monday morning with a voice note and he said, yeah, I'm down to do this, Brodie, and he didn't. You could have hit him on the Tuesday or the Wednesday to remind him and he still didn't do it because he's so busy. But if he keeps seeing in his Instagram stories, if he keeps seeing you getting excited that you're progressing on the charts, he is likely going to eventually be reminded to take action and support you. I can think of something to give you an example here. we got the new iPhones, and I wanted to get a case that was cool. I didn't want to keep buying these boring iPhone cases that cover the phone and you can't appreciate like what an iPhone looks like physically. And on Instagram, I started seeing these posts of these cool iPhone cases that just like clip on either side of the phone, exposing the phone still of its actual makeup, but covering the edges to protect it. Anyways, I saw this phone case, fell in love with it on Instagram on a Monday, let's say, and I never bought it on the Monday. I never even bought it for 2 more weeks, but because I kept seeing the remarketing ads, because I went and visited the website, I eventually went and purchased it because I kept seeing the remarketing content. So again, to put it into context for this, you're gonna tell people to do something on one day, they might not take action for 2 weeks, and support that comes one day or support that comes days later or weeks later is still support, and every unit being sold counts on Beatport, okay? So just keep this mindset. Now, step 6, repeat this process the entire first week of your release. Can you do it past the first week? Absolutely. The amount of new messages you send, follow-up messages, social media posts, etc., all depend on the results you yield as you're doing this. The truth is, I know I could have pushed more on other projects that maybe got to number 25 or number 10 or number 6 and number 1, and I probably could have kept pushing to make them rank higher. I only have excuses, if I'm honest, as to why I didn't do this, but I also have a great awareness of my existing actively engaged network. This is a really important point here. So you have people that will go and spend $1.99 or $2.49 or $5 for you, and then you have people that you can message a few times, and if you keep messaging them, you could damage or tarnish the relationship with them. You have to use your discretion about how hard you want to push on people. There's a fine line here, but make sure whatever that fine line is, you're right on the edge of it, right? And if you want to push past it, it's really up to you. But again, you have to be smart, and I think I demonstrated and exercised good judgment when it comes to my network that would support me on this stuff. One more example I want to give you here is I had releases that came out 1 week after another, and the release that went number 1, I went super hard on it, and the release that came a week later, it went to number 11, I believe, on the Beatport charts. Now, here's where I exercised good judgment. Did I want to keep hassling people that supported me on the first one to do the second one also? I didn't. So I actually went and pursued new relationships and new contacts and new support for that second release because I didn't want to hassle those people too much and make too much demand on them. Again, this is personal preference. Maybe there's some people out there that would say, screw that. I'm going to hassle everybody and push everybody to keep supporting me. And if they don't, they're not real fans, blah, blah, blah. It's all about mindset and you're using your intuition at the end of the day. So, guys, I've just given you 6 steps to going number 1 on Beatport.com. This is the exact strategy that I used to go on the charts on Beatport and multiple times. I hope you enjoyed the video and get value from it. Again, all of this falls on great product. All of this falls on great marketing. And if I can do it with a label, without a label, with my own hustle, you can too. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a comment, a like, and we'll see you in the next piece of content. Much love.